Hello, welcome. Cabbage here. So we have a new round of Transcendent forms out. So let's have a look at those, and we'll look at Odin first. And yeah, I had sort of a kind of an opening statement prepared for Odin, but then I played with him, and that kind of changed my mind. What I was going to say is that he's kind of one of the more controversial Transcendent forms released, because one, he's kind of changed the least from his regular Ascension form. And then two, he is kind of thought of as not as good as all of the other Transcendent forms. And then I was very much expecting him to be, super underwhelming when I did try him out first. But I did play him in the video that we're about to watch, and he was much better than I anticipated. I'll leave the final, decision up to you, whether or not he is good or not. But know that he comes with a lot of baggage. He's been kind of called the worst Transcendent monster, or like he's just a buffed monster with like new artwork, that kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, let's have a look at him, and then we'll watch the video, and then we'll see how we feel about him. Alrighty, so first of all, I want to talk about his artwork. His previous artwork I thought was absolutely no good. It was just too much going on, and you couldn't tell where like he started and his horse ended, that kind of a thing. But here it's much cleaner and much more cool, and there aren't a lot of monsters that you see like from the side, from the profile, so that's kind of a cool look. We'll look at his stats next. His attack and his speed are actually exactly the same as his Ascension form, which is a little disappointing, but they're all already very, very high to begin with, his attack anyway. His speed is just over 200, or just under 200, so that's not very fast at all. His HP, though, got a boost, and it's now I think it's the second highest HP in the game after one of the forms of Behemoth, so that's pretty crazy. He still has the single null ability, null gravity barrier, and he still has that same luck skill, critical, and that's pretty insane on a power type, which is what Odin is. And then kind of the agreed, I don't know what you'd call it, like an old wives' tale, but for whatever reason, Odin seems to get his critical off more often than other monsters. I think part of that has to do with like pinching a lot and then getting in lots of hits. But anyway, yeah, there is that. Strike shot is the same. It's the go and then explode on a first contact strike shot, and the power of the 24 turn of the Ascension has carried over to the 20 turn of this form, and then the 24 turn of this form has gotten more powerful. So we'll look at that. And then, yeah, the strike shot does more damage, and so does the bump combo. It is the new bump combo, homing devastation. This is the strongest homing shot now per hit, and it does over 20,000 each hit. And then with the main and then the sub bump combo, it's 8 shots in all. And so if you put all that damage together, that's one of the top 5 strongest homing shots in the game. However, still the Pierce homing shots are going to be better, just because they hit more times each, and then also they have a greater chance of hitting the boss's weak point. But still, this is a very strong bump combo, especially if you can get it in a boss's weak point. And then, yeah, but with all of the little minor changes, there are no major changes to Odin. So he's going to play exactly the same way as before, as the Ascension version, and then he will go to the same quests as before. So the way that you play him will not be any different, just those quests that you do bring him to, he'll be better in. Okay, and then as for quests that he would be good for Impossibles, I would say really only Izanami at this point. And then you could take him to Yamato Takeru. There's a lot of pinching to do in there. And then power types do great in pinch situations. But he would not have the element advantage, but he does have a lot of hit points also, so that might even out. But those are really the only 2 Impossibles I would recommend him for. And then in the Tower of Champions, he's kind of famously known as one of the best for floor 31 of the tower. And yeah, that's a red element floor, and lots of pinching in there as well. So yeah, Odin's pretty great. And then he also has the critical luck skill. And if that activates, that means that he'll have a greater chance of taking out both sides of the pairs that he pinches. So that's pretty great. And I liked using him in there even before he got his Transcendent form. And then one thing that was also kind of controversial about Odin is that he lost his, what do you call it, Sync Strike from his earlier versions. I don't have any issue with this. I never use the Sync Strike, so I don't mind that that's gone. And then also some people were complaining that he lost his horse in the artwork up there. I think it's better without the horse. Alrighty. And then finally, I guess we'll talk about Able Berry's good for him. As with anybody that has a lot of hit points, if you can add to that, then that just makes him more of a super duper tank. So like Kin Vigor Able Berries or like Survivor. And then his bump combo, even though he is a power type, it's still very powerful. So Sidekick could be good for him as well. And then if you're worried about his low speed, you can give him low speed, or more speed, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay, so let's take him to a mission. And then because it is the time, we'll bring him to Yoshimune, the limited time quest going on now. And gimmicks here are gravity barriers and warps and damage walls. But Odin has the no gravity barrier, so I felt that was good enough to bring him in here. And yes, I am using 2 of him. And then I'm also bringing Arthur, who has no damage wall, no gravity barrier, and then Hanzo, who has no gravity barrier, no warp. So a little bit of everything. And then, yeah, I'll be playing mostly to try to show off the power of Odin. So here, let's look at the homing shot. Okay, so 8 shots. I think one of them went into the weak point, but still pretty decent damage. I was a little surprised there. And then here we'll have a look at the kind of the base attack with the sword. And the sword, by the way, it increases bump combo strength as well. So, okay, pretty good. And then this quest, this limited time quest for Yoshimune, I would recommend it for people that do not have a red bounce null damage wall character. She's really good. I would say maybe overall, what's her face? The red, the Fire Noelle from the Christmas event. She would be overall better, I would say, because she has the recovery and all that. But Yoshimune does have the Demon Slayer, so in certain situations she's going to be better for that. If you had the time, go ahead and make both. Wow. So there, I'm going to change the topic. There we saw that Odin got a critical hit, not even on the weak point, and then did almost 1 million damage to the boss there. So that was pretty insane. That really kind of changed my mind about this character. And then here too, let's look at the bump combos. Okay, that's a little bit insane. It's helped, of course, by the fact that I'm using 2 of Odin, but still, it's kind of turning my head. He's a little bit more powerful than the JP players were making him out to be. Does that mean I will be taking him to more quests? I don't know, we'll see, but... Alright. And then there, we took out 2 of the little guys, just with like a couple of hits from Odin on each, plus the homing. And then when you are using Odin, who has such slow speed, you really need to think about how to aim the guy so that you can get the most hits in with that low speed. And so you're going to look for a lot of pinch shots, wall shots, shots in between guys or the boss. And here actually, this was another good example. I'm going to try to get in between the wall and the boss, and that turned out really well. And yeah, this is really great for this stage, because the boss will summon guys. So if we can get rid of her quickly enough, we have less guys to deal with. And yeah, as it turns out, Odin has a sub-bump combo, which is a fire element, which does work on the wood monsters on this mission. So Odin's looking pretty good here. Alright, well, we'll pinch here, and then we want to get rid of the warp guy, because he summons other guys. And yeah, if you were interested in seeing a video about strategy, more in-depth strategy for this mission, I do have it somewhere on my channel. You can just put in Yoshimune in the search bar. And yeah, I actually have enough Odins to make an all Odin team. And before I did this playthrough, I was not considering it, just going by the reflections of the JP community. But after seeing him here, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking again. An all-homing team is pretty darn strong. And I was wondering how good Odin was going to be. I think I'll give him a little bit more of a playtime just to see how I feel about him. And if I really, really love him, then I'll go ahead and make 4 of him. I'm a little hesitant, of course, because that's a lot of dragon gem farming, but... Okay, pretty good positioning there. We managed to get around the warps. Alright, we'll get the homing shots in there. And then, yeah, I'm going to talk real quick about Hanzo's strike shot. It's like a barrier that he creates around him, and it actually gives him a null damage wall, and then also ignores damage from mines. So for him, who has null gravity barrier and null warp, this is like a null everything. And there we're seeing the no damage from the damage wall. And yeah, there we avoided that damage from the laser there. So yeah, I do like Hanzo's strike shot. It'll become much better, of course, when he gets his Transcendent form. Okay, so there we saw Odin's explosion on first contact strike shot, and it did 1.5 million damage. Pretty darn good. And then, yeah, we got the weak point there again, so let's use the second one. And there we go. Alright, so that was Odin. I was not expecting him to be this good. I'm still a little suspicious. I'm going to play with him some more, just to find out how good he really is. But this was a pleasant surprise, and I think I'm going to have fun with this guy. And then he should be especially good for like very easy quests, because he's got no gauge and he's got a strong homing bump combo. Those are 2 things that I like for very easy quests. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and enjoy your Odin. Take care.